Wyman. It's so great to see you today here in our auditorium. As Miss P, Ms. Fleischman, and I share with you a science program we would like to call May the Force Be With You. Oh, that's right. Thank you. We're going to be talking with you all afternoon about the many different forces in our world through some exciting demonstrations. And to do that today, we're going to need your help. In fact, the very first thing we want to do with you right now is have you turn to a scientist beside you and have them be your science partner. So will you kind of pair up or make a group of 3 of students that you are going to be talking about forces this afternoon. And when you've got that partner, just show me that thumbs up. And then just turn to that partner and say, let's learn some science. All right, so Wendy, Steve.
Our world is full of motion. As the earth moves around the sun, and the waves go across the ocean, and the snowflakes fall through the sky. Some motions are under our control, but other motions are caused by natural forces. And some of you might already know how to define the word force. A force can be 2 things. Number 1, it could be a push. Whoa.
Or
Number 2, it could be a pull. Very good. Woo.
all right.
Now, forces are pulling on us everywhere we go. In fact, there is one force that is pulling on us all the time, right now.
Oh, wow. No fooling these students, that's right. Right? The force of gravity is the first force we're going to explore with you and together today. Gravity is that pulling force caused by Earth pulling us downward all the time. Hundreds of years ago, this idea of an invisible force like gravity was still being explored. And a scientist known as Galileo proved hundreds of years of previous scientific thinking wrong with a special demonstration. Legend has it that this scientist climbed to the top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa with 2 objects of different weight and size. Now, to climb to the top of this tower is no joke. He wanted to prove a point, right? What would happen if he were to drop these two objects at the same time? Which of these objects would hit the ground first? So, I'm going to climb to the top of this tower just like Galileo. And before I drop them to find out, I'm of course going to make a prediction. And I'd like you to make a prediction with one another right now. What do you predict will happen when I drop these 2 dots together? Show of hands or those predictions. How many of you are thinking, like the great scientist Aristotle, that the larger, heavier object is going to hit that ground first? All right, plenty of hands up for that one. How many of you are going with the underdog, the smaller, less heavy object? Okay. Anyone in the audience thinking something else is going to happen? Oh, a few shows of hands. Well, as Newton and scientists before him knew, no better way than to test it out, right? So, I'm going to ask you to count from 3, and when we get down to 0, I'm going to drop them, and I want you to use your observing eyes to see which object hits the ground first. Are you ready? Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. That was awfully close, wasn't it? Now, Aristotle believed that an object twice as heavy would fall twice as fast. Was that true in our experiment today? No. This confirmed Galileo's thinking that, in fact, the force being pulled down on us, keeping us in our seats and firmly rooted to the ground, is always constant, always pulling us down with the same amount of force, whether you're a large bowling ball or an itty-bitty tennis ball. But we know that there are other objects that don't appear to fall quite so evenly, right? Like if I drop this feather. Or anyone heard the bunny copter challenge this winter? Surely they didn't fall at the same speed as those bowling balls, right? What's going on there, Miss P?
Well, Mr. Musselman, just as there are forces in our world that cause motion, there are other forces that slow motion down. And there's a word for that force that slows things down. We call it friction. Friction is created when one object is moving past another. This could be that feather in the air. It could be a rocket shooting up towards the sky, or even our hands rubbing together on a cold winter day. So go ahead, rub those hands together, make some friction.
Turns out friction makes heat too, Miss P.
It does make heat. The more that objects come into contact, the more friction that is created, and it resists or slows that motion down. And it gets me thinking. I wonder if there's another demonstration we can show students and teachers to demonstrate that slowing of the force called friction. What do you think, Mr. Musselman?
Slowing with that motion, that's right, Miss P. We're going to need a few volunteers for this one. We're going to need some folks. I'm looking for some strong Francis Wyman Falcons here. Let's see.
Well, I have said, stimulus what you're listening to this others. We go here. Oh, thank you so much. All right. Now,
You want to hear this?
yes, yeah, you have this good before. Very good. Now, Brennan, I am assuming that fifth and fourth graders as knowledgeable as yourselves are familiar with the game Tug of War. Is that right? All right. Surely we all know Tug of War. Tug of War is nothing more than a challenge between which side can pull that the force more than the other side. But today, we're going to play a slightly different kind of tug of war. I'm going to have both of you hold these long chains. There you go. All right? Instead of being connected to one another, we've instead connected these to two rather leafy large books. That's what I mean. 2 books. Right? Now, books, they don't seem like they have a lot of force just by themselves, right? They're certainly not pushing or pulling on us right now, correct? But here's the trick, friends. These 2 books, Miss P and I have so carefully placed page upon page on top of one another. Every page that slides onto the next creates a surface that will be rubbed between when these friends start pulling. And the more surface we have, the more friction will be created to slow things down. So our real challenge today, scientists, right, is can you pull these 2 books back?
Can it resist that motion?
Friends, what do you think? Share with your partners right now. Are they going to be able to pull 2 books so pulling it?
Did you wait for this point? No, you feel it right now, good. No chance. All right. That's right. That runs into the button fly my slow way up to feet. You kind of that same arrow. The only thing straight for it. When then I just touch. So let me go. You say fast, put on here the SFX.
All right, are you ready to see?
Yeah, buddy.
Let's see which force. Let's pan over.
He's back the troopers.
The police, the worst of our students, or I mean, assisted, of arm friction between the pages of these books. In the countdown, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Start pulling! Start pulling! Keep pulling!
So let's take it in the lights.
Let's go! It's not gonna happen, friends.
Wow. Directions. Adamsburg.
There we go. Give these friends a round of applause for that. Wow. So many forces in our world seemingly ending from sight every day. That can be very strong. Now, another force that exists on the earth is a force that's created by the electronic devices that you use every day. That's right. Just about every electronic device you own, or that's in your home or school, includes what we call an electromagnet. Can you say that? Yeah, the electromagnet, the word electromagnet is nothing more than two words, right? Kind of being connected. The idea of electricity or electrode, energy that creates a magnet and its invisible magnetic force. Misty, you want to talk a little bit about the magnets in general? What kind of force do they produce?
Magnet forces can produce one of two forces of motion. The first one is that they can attract or pull objects towards one another. And the second motion they can do is repel push objects away. Now, electromagnetics, like you see here, can pull tight together just as well as they can push something away. And what we're going to see in this chair is that it's powered by 2D batteries and some type of electricity that Mr. Musselman's going to explain to you the best art shape.
Electromagnets are a little different than the bar magnets or the magnets on your refrigerator that you use every day, because they create what's called a temporary. A magnet that only works when an electromagnet is on. So right now you see these two pieces of metal. Does this electromagnet need any attraction right now? Absolutely not. But we do have, right, those two batteries. Probably see, maybe in a remote controlled car or something. And, the question is, how strong an electromagnet could possibly be made by the electricity in these two little batteries? So I need another volunteer. Need a volunteer. Before you put your hands up, so what you get themselves into here. We need someone who is an avid fan of swinging. Benji here is going to test out the strength of our electromagnet for it. Here's what Benji's going to do. First of all, he's going to prepare himself with the scapegoat helmet. And number two, he's going to get ready. He's going to moments, Benji. I'm going to have you sit on this swing. Right now, like we mentioned, the electromagnet is not yet on. We need to do something very specific here. We need to get some electricity flowing between those magnets. What we need is a complete circuit. Can you see that works? Circuit. Now, as you see in this picture here, a circuit is nothing more than a loop on one end of an electric source to another that allows the electricity to flow. No circuit, no electricity moving, and no energy being provided to our electromagnet. So here we've got, attached to those two batteries, we also have the ends of an electric plug that together are going to make that complete circuit. Now, I'm going to bring this electromagnet up to substance. You see it? Do you hear it? And check that out, friends. Hold on. Our swing is now up. Being held up against the force of gravity. And Benji, I'm going to have you test the strength of this electromagnetic force, right? When we count down from 5. Sound good, friends? You ready to see? Will the electromagnet hold up Benji? You ready? Here we go. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looks like we've got it. You want to give us a little swing there, Benji? Hey, you might pop. He's swing. All right. Give Benji a round of applause for his turn. So we'll yeah, like I said, like past Benji SMG, are you also in the, can you handle a little bit of a roller coaster experience? I said yes, so I'm going to ask you to make one more prediction here, class. What do you think might happen to the strength of force of this electromagnet if we were to open this circuit? What do you think would happen? All right, friends. Benji, don't look down. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Folks, just those 2 batteries are capable of producing enough force to end up hundreds of pounds of weight. It's a really incredible amount of force that can be made by just a little bit of electricity. Speaking of...
Every day in our lives, we measure things. But when we're measuring the force of an object, there are 2 things we have to consider. Number 1, how heavy the object is. And number 2, how fast that object is moving. So how we measure the force of motion with an object is called its momentum. Very good. The bigger an object, the faster it's moving. The more momentum it has. Now we see momentum and we go to the bowling alley and we pick up this heavy ball and we make it go fast down the lane to hopefully knock out those pins that we're looking for. But you don't have to be big to have lots of momentum. And to demonstrate this, we're introducing to you the one and only pencil cannon.
That's right. Friends, our pencil cannon is designed to create a whole lot of momentum, right? Behind this seemingly innocent pencil you might use in your classroom every day. Now to show that Mr. Musselman and Miss B are no magicians, we need a volunteer, someone who's got some really good observing eyes, not gonna be fooled by any miscollector shenanigans. See Riley here, you can see right on her face. I will not be fooled, Mr. Musselman. Okay, Riley, so here's the deal. We're gonna challenge ourselves right now to try to put innocent pencil through that piece of wood right there in front of us, all right? Now, before we go, you just do a quick check. Can you confirm that it is in fact a pencil? Just a simple wooden pencil. Okay, anything suspicious about the wooden pencil? No, except what's going on here at the front. Yeah, there's no tip, and that's a problem, because we want all the force, all the momentum of this pencil to unleash its power, its force, to kind of go right onto that tip through that piece of paper. Right? Piece of wood. To confirm that it's not a piece of paper, can you do a quick check? Is that in fact wood? All right. All right, you're good. All right, and would you, because we don't want any tricks, would you mind sharpening this pencil for us down to the very tip? Now, while Riley does that, I want to introduce you quickly to the pencil cannon. You see on one side there is an empty hole, and it's in that piece of wood. And on the other side here, we have what's perfect. The wires Now, you might not typically think of fire extinguishers as having a lot of force, but turns out fire extinguishers can do their job best when they're using a whole lot of air pressure to help us put out a flame. Air pressure. Air. How does air have a long force? Well, check it out for yourselves right now, friends. Just take your hand, put it against your, close to your mouth, and just give it a blow. Right? Now, surely you can feel a little bit of force there, whether it's your breath or the wind in our skies, right? Moving air can create forces. And a lot of moving air, moving through a very small tunnel at once, can also produce a lot of force. A lot of force means a lot of speed. The more speed behind this pencil, the more likely we'll be able to put it through this wooden block. Now, for Riley's sake, Riley, let me have you go return to your seat. Okay, we don't want any mishaps here with Riley, right? And the last thing we're going to do with this pencil is we're going to load it into our Genzer cannon. So here to go to speed. I'm going to gently, carefully put that in. Eraser side first. I'm going to stop here. Stop around. Yes. Oh, I mean. All right, very good. Want to get that all the way down.
Let me check them out.
Towards our fire extinguisher end. And one last important feature here is that Mr. Musselman is going to put on some safety nut, just in case this pencil doesn't go exactly where we want. All right.
Scotton.
Chris Elliott. All right, now Mr. Musselman is going to hold our pencil cannon down in place while Miss E unleashes the force of air pressure onto that pencil and creates hopefully enough momentum to go through our board. Are you ready?
Momentum.
Will you like to give us the countdown again? Well, here we go. Whoa! Hold on. Hold on out. Let's take a look. Oh, Riley, where's Riley? What do you think, Riley? Will it go for the board?
Oh my God.
Oh, where is the board? You see it?
For this demonstration, we're also going to go back to the scientist named Sir Isaac Newton. And Sir Isaac Newton loved to study forces in motion as a scientist. And he did so much that he came up with his own rules, or what we call the laws of motion. And we are going to demonstrate one of those laws of motion here today with a very famous piece of equipment that's been around at the Science Center for a long time. Now, the law of motion that we're going to demonstrate is called, for every action, there is an equal and an opposite reaction. Mr. Musselman, would you like to elaborate on that?
No, it's a very curious saying. It doesn't kind of roll off the tongue, right? It's called Isaac Newton's third law of physics. And yes, this idea that you can have one action, one something, and have an equal and opposite reaction or an effect, right? What does that even mean in the real world when you're just sort of talking about that? Well, Miss P is about to introduce you, coming out of retirement, our very one and only incredible Burlington Science Center rocket car. We're a little bit more forward here, Miss P. Let's bring it back to the center. You can get a good look. Now, I know what you're thinking, students. Mr. Musselman, that is not a rocket car. That is a tricycle. But you would be misled. Because, well, this rocket car does in fact have a front handle to ensure our rocket car goes in the proper direction. All right? It does not have pedals for motion, but instead, like another one of those fire extinguishers. A fire extinguisher capable, right, of releasing a whole lot of air pressure and force in the direction of that side exit from our stage right there. Now, friends, think about Isaac Newton's statement that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, I'd like you to make one last prediction. What will happen when Misty honors the many women as men who have dared to dream and enter our outer atmosphere and outer space to explore the stars and beyond? What will happen when all that force is directed in one direction?
It's utterly.
How will the rocket power respond or react? I'd like you to turn to your partner. I'm going to it's just so neat. Give me a sense of the direction you're expecting this piece. Rocket car, huge stars. Okay, I'm grateful that I don't see any fingers standing straight up. Straight. I want this P around. So, this P, are we ready? Wow, quite fun. All right. Friends, we're going to do just like one would do with a good old rocket launch. We're going to do a full countdown from 10. And when we hit that liftoff 0, Misty is going to unleash the force of all that air pressure in that fire extinguisher. Are you ready? Yeah. Here we go. Give me a countdown from 10. 9, do you hear that? Here comes the next protein activating. What's this? Miss Nick, you feel the bus moving. All right. Francis Lawrence student. We have defined forces as a push and pull. We have investigated the constant pulling force of gravity. We've explored the incredible resisting force of friction, temporary magnets like our own electromagnet swing, the pencil cannon's incredible power with its momentum, and of course, Newton's third law of motion with our incredible rocket star. I hope, and we hope, that this experience today will help you go out into your world around you and identify and explore forces in a way that you haven't done before. And let us know the next time you see us how you are exploring and seeing forces and motion in your world. Until then, teachers, I ask you to take your classes away and have a great rest of your school.
Yes. Thank you.